look him directly in the eye because they're about to drop the hammer on the defendant. The other thing we look at in jurors when they all come back as a group into the jury box when the verdict is ready to be read is, are they jovial? Are they relaxed? Or are they somber? If they're relaxed, I've seen juries come back with a verdict on my, they seem loosened up, I know it's a really good sign. If they come back in the room and they're somber and they're not really looking, some of them look a good sign, it could mean a guilty verdict.
And I've also got Paula Reed and Kristen Holmes here with me. And obviously, Paula, I mean, this is remarkable that the jury had 3 notes, 2 yesterday, a 3rd this morning, and then no more. I mean, we were waiting to see, we thought maybe they had another question, they'd want to hear some more evidence. And their only notes, their only questions were to reread testimony and to have the jury instructions read back to them. And after that, they have now reached a verdict.
Yeah, I think we're all pretty stunned that they have a verdict already. We thought for sure they would want to hear maybe additional portions of witness testimony read back to them, maybe even those instructions, many of which were bogged down in some legalese, read back to them. But I think we all need to take a second and pause. I mean, this is a significant moment in the history of the United States. We are about to find out if a former president will become a convicted felon. This is the first case of its kind, and the fact that these deliberations move this quickly is quite shocking as someone who sat here for 7 weeks and watched every second of it.
Yeah, I think we had, I mean, you know, what's also notable is how the reaction is playing inside the courtroom. I mean, Trump and his attorneys, they thought they were about to go home for the day. They thought
he was strapped.
What's also
there was
notable
no verdict, and that they were going back in there, and that the jury was going to be released at 4:30, and they were ready to come back again tomorrow. I mean, they were at a certain point. You could tell by Donald Trump's mood. He was laughing. He was slapping around Todd Blanche and writing him notes. He was feeling like he was going home. He was going to sit through this again tomorrow. Happy to be going home. This is very surprising to them.
I mean, we were sitting here and to the courtroom. He said, I'm going to go. And then we were kind of sitting here, well, you know, it's been a while since the judge has come back into, typically he'd bring the jury in, tell him not to discuss the case, and then say, okay, you can go home, we'll see you tomorrow morning. And instead he came back in the room, there was a note, and he said that the jury told him they had reached a verdict, and now Trump and his attorneys are quite still, and they went from chatting and Trump and Todd Blanche kind of laughing and smiling at one another to now quite serious as they're about to find out what the jury.
Selena Hava, one of Trump's attorneys, not in this case, but previous cases, walked in with her mouth agape that has been quiet. Eric Trump walked out of the room, then came back in and is now sitting behind his father again. I mean, clearly they are scrambling right now because this was not expected. Now, for there to be a verdict, but at this point, they just come to the conclusion there wasn't going to be one. It was time to move on. Now, what do you think about the political ramifications of all of this? Donald Trump's team has been preparing for a guilty verdict since before this trial. They believe that they have been